Morning once again, and welcome to the Alcon Inspire Series #2. Right. So they say where there is will, there is way. And with every way comes roadblocks and challenges. Visionaries are those who actually see through this and sail through seamlessly, while others get actually lost. But I guess this morning is a visionary in true sense. He is a renowned stalwart in the eye care fraternity, a revolutionary practitioner, who has this very interesting philosophy of affordable eye care, affordable and quality eye care for everybody. Winners of several national and international awards, all across. Former president of the AIOC, a flawless orator, a writer, but most importantly, he's a very good friend of Alcon. And before I invite him on stage, I have a quick AV for him. Just have a look.
During the 90s, eye care services suffered a great lack in West Bengal. Proper eye care facilities were only limited to Kolkata, the only metropolitan city of the East. This lack of provisions was the inspiration behind the foundation of Disha Eye Hospital. By 1989, the visionary Debasish Bhattacharya had organized a clinic in the ground floor of his home. He included the technologies of IOL and microsurgery and was already providing eye care for patients from his home itself. It was the birthplace of Disha. From its source of a small town practice, Disha has charted its growth to become the largest eye care foundation in eastern India with 11 state-of-the-art hospitals and with the promise to serve and provide care to the common people.
We have lots to do before say that, we have done enough. So that's the path forwards. I think we should continue doing the good work, but there's a lot to be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the founder of Disha Eye Hospital, Dr.Debasish Bhattacharya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you.
What to you, sir?
It's okay.
Yeah,
fine.
Here's the slide advance over there.
Good morning, Alconites. Good morning. That's great. So, let our work stand tall forever. Columbus sailed out to discover India, but he landed up discovering America, a land of red Indians. He was actually punished by his Spanish king sponsorer, but little did he know that the land he had discovered would lead the world today. So much in life actually occurs more by default than by design. So I know you Alconites design more and put it into action. That's what you are here for. But if design doesn't work, default definitely does. So don't get disheartened at all. I was an ophthalmologist by default. And to me, in college days, the college social or the college cricket match was more important than academics. So when I landed up with Professor P.K. Chatterjee, my first teacher in ophthalmology, I hardly knew anything. And here this gentleman, a very dedicated soul, on the second day of the OPD, he literally jumped from his seat and said, Debasish, you must see this case. This is an extraordinary case, very rare, Coates disease, cholesterol crystals here and there. I didn't even know how to see through an ophthalmoscope. And he was bubbling all with energy to teach me. Honestly, quotes to me at that time was, I didn't know whether it was a new cereal in the breakfast, whatever it was. So I felt very bad that somebody, some human being is trying to teach me so passionately, and here am I, this fool. I can't even follow a word of his. So from that day, I put into myself a sense of sincerity. And that's what real passion, real genuine people do for, even a careless guy like me. And I'm greatly indebted to him. So after my MS, as usual, I applied for the government job. And as I went for the interview, the person across the table told me, well, we need doctors who can do tubectomies, vasectomies, and you're an eye guy, right? So I didn't even enter the room. So I said, may I? So I did, and I said, well, good morning. Somehow reluctantly, they said good morning. And then I said that I have a qualification. You wanted basic medical graduate, and I have a qualification over and above that. I'm trying to pursue that. So is there anything in the government that I can join directly as an eye specialist? They said, no, not really. I said, I send my CV, so, you could have gone through it, because I think we are wasting each other's time by your first comment. So obviously I didn't get the government job. And on the retrospect, I think it was a boon. So sometimes, just being plain spoken helps. And it did help me. So in the next 6 months, I was actually designing the first big city center coming up in Calcutta. I was buying those water-cooled machines, planning out the OPD, and all for free, of course, because I had nothing to do at that time. So when the D-Day came for inauguration, so all the city bigwigs, the big consultants came in. I was somehow kept out of the meeting. And then I had a remark to me that, well, you can join as an RMO. Well, all I needed was, I wanted to practice there as a full-time consultant, but somehow that was not to be. And, well, again, a kick in the back, fine. So suddenly it struck me somewhere, and I just went into the meeting. I said, what is the problem with me? Like, I'm just a young entrant to the profession. And they said, nothing wrong, but you are too young to be a consultant. So I said, fine, I come from some place, and I promise you this, I just said out of the way, I'll have a bigger hospital than this place. And just think, why I told the Columbus story, 6 months back, I was actually applying for a government job, and 6 months after, I had already committed myself an eye hospital. I don't know why. I don't know how. So, sometimes sharing these things with your so-called enemies helps. Because, when you go down, things not working your way, they smile, they enjoy the moment. But that, over my experience, felt that grits you up. Okay, guy, well, I'll see you, we'll meet. So the mission evolved, and I went back to my hometown where spectacle shops was the only avenues of practice. And there actually, my name was written in small fronts, Debasish Bhattacharya, MS. And there was an optometrist who had a big display. Never mind, he was there for 15 years, so I fully respect the situation, and I hardly used to have patience. So honestly, most of my time was spent watching this man who was busy selling fuchkas on just in front of me. And he was having a gala time. You know, Are, Mataji, aapka beta Mumbai काम में मस्त ना ठीक. I said, yeah, हाँ 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 बहुत अच्छा बहुत अच्छा. Hey मुन्ना खेल के आया है हाथ धो उसके बाद फुचका मिलेगा. And I was just seeing the whole thing, and I said, what is this man doing? Is he actually selling fuchkas? It didn't appear to me at all. He was actually distributing happiness through human relationships. And that got me the bigger picture that, we all create products, we all sell them, but the bigger thing is rather much bigger, and that's humanity. Every American lecture will have this. You ought to have dreams. Well, yes, I also, the hospital dream. But one thing I realize about this American big dream is even when you are sleeping, it keeps you preparing. It keeps you preparing for that moment in a beautiful way. Even the least lucky of the person here, no, I'm lucky. That's in my name. Debasish, right? I have the blessings of God. So even the least luckiest of persons will actually have one lucky moment. And if he has a dream, he is already ready. He has lived that moment, that day, that time, many times before. And the moment he gets it, he grabs it. So I grabbed IOLs before my peers because I saw this was the one thing which can actually give me what I really shared with my so-called enemies. And since then, it was no looking back. I was overflowing with the IOL, which was such a wonderful thing, you know. It changed the whole goal of ophthalmology. And by 1995, I was over the brink. So naturally, I had to look for, I started my clinic, and the one that you saw in my own house. Actually, I lived my mother's dream, who wanted his son to be a doctor. So obviously, in the inauguration, she was the chief guest. And in a small gathering of doctors, which I could gather, she told me two very important things. First, see, son, you must see that all patients come to you. She never went to school, so the speeches were rather rustic, but these two words were most meaningful. The second was more important. She, from her mouth, who I knew as a very philanthropic lady, she said, charge every patient. Well, I didn't understand that. So I asked her, what about this? She explained me in Bengali, Ashuk, Asuk. Asuk क्या है? Sukh nahi hai to asukh hai. So it's as simple as that. And so it is also in English, dis-ease, you are not at ease, so that is dis-ease. And that's what we need to treat, and that's what we are doctors for. And that, she said, is a participation. It is not obligatory. So there must be a transaction, there must be a consent, there must be a participation to get out of disease. That's what she meant. So it was be inclusive and, of course, charge whatever participation can be afforded. So as I was overflowing, I had to gather a team to work more. So I had my friends who actually used to come and maximize me in other aspects of my practice. But they had a little problem, the security of their government jobs. They were professors in medical colleges. So somehow I couldn't actually get them whole time into the dream. So I used what, Gandhiji used. Sacrifice. It isn't a very big connotation, right? Because sacrifice is something that you give your immediate position of strength for a more efficient future. It's nothing big. So all I said, okay guys, I'm leaving, I have a handsome practice. What about, I used to earn about 50 lakhs at that time. So I said, we all start working at 10,000 rupees. You guys are earning 5,000, so let us put it at 10,000. So it started rolling. So sacrifice is one thing. I mean, you must be leaders in your own positions of work. I mean, if you just go out of your way and do the work yourself, you find that your subordinate just follows you. So, I mean, that's a smaller example of sacrifice. And of course, I did not believe in subordination. The guys that were in my team were the best doctors at that time, because you need to choose colleagues. You need to choose competence. You are the best ophthalmic company in the world. So you are the best people, and you need to choose the best ones. So all this default kick in the back, mission, enterprise, but everybody is an entrepreneur, I tell you. If I am an entrepreneur, everybody is, and everybody is passionate. So where does somewhere we fall back? I think it's a fear of the unknown, which keeps us from doing better things, more daunting things. It's also a comfort zone, a kind of complacency which is often talked about. And very often, I find this talk, my dream and love is photography. I do this job because I have to. Well, every job, if you just drag in the human part of it, becomes so much more passionate, so much more attractive. You need not find out another passion. Of course, hobbies, other pastimes are quite interesting, but I think the job must be most interesting. And I always remember that Fuchkawala because, he taught me that there's something more, a bigger picture. If you do your job, you're getting paid for it. I really just heard your head talking big things to you, targets and incentives. But if you perform more, it's not about the incentive. The incentive is only a part in between. The respect of your colleagues, we are all constantly being watched. And not by Alconites, but by the entire industry. And that industry also includes me. Right? Alcon has a very good retainership. So, being pushed, of course, we enterprise, but also let us learn, and that is what you are doing. You are doing things by design. So, the most important thing is location. That's what I realized in life. Had I not been started in Barrackpur, probably I wouldn't have done it. Because I had this surplus, this overflow. So anywhere in life you feel that, things are not going way, just relocate yourself. Relocation helps a lot. I don't say leave Alcon. Think about relocating. Alcon is an international company. So, because it puts you in a sense of discomfort, it puts you into more responsibility, it stretches you. And that brings out the best in us. And of course, try to be visible, of course. Because, our building was very visible, as you saw, on the railway track, which everybody could see, because it is important. And as I told you, how did we grow? We never forgot the patient, because that is the basic content. What he wants is the most important thing. And to deliver, of course, as we grow, we need them. We need these systems, these protocols, this, the logical way of working. But at the same time, let us realize we are not for technology, sorry. We need not fit into some technology. The technology is for us. It is to make our lives better. We need not, squeeze into some technology. That's not the content. And so, what the future beholds, because that is very interesting, What is ophthalmology going to be 15, 20 years after this? Well, the elderly population is around 9 crores now, 18 crores. But the age group, my and a little below, that's where India had expanded, India in independence was 33 crores. Today we are 130 crores. So we are going to double the age that matters in ophthalmology, 50 to 75. That's going to go to 40 crores. So the entire volume, and elderlies are going to live longer, they're going to be more affluent, they're going to be more visually dependent for entertainment, for livelihood, for everything. And of course, they're going to be alone. The children working outside, less mobile thereby, and 50% I would see would stay in the cities, 20% in the villages, and 30% in suburban areas. And eye specialists are going to double up, and so also the optometrists. But no, I don't see an eye specialist versus an optometric situation. But what I see is enough work for all of us. So that's the good thing that I see. Our per capita is definitely going up 4 times if we are growing in 15 years, if we are going at 8%, which we will. And if we grow at 8%, I'm told that it has to come from the growth in the bottom of the pyramid. So there's a lot of fortune in the bottom of the pyramid, because Manish can't get any richer. I'm sorry. He will become richer, but not much more richer. So, the industry size is currently around 15,000. That's what we all discuss. But it can actually grow 4 times, and I'll tell you why. And currently, IOLs are all that we interest you, right? And this is from the industry. 40 lakh IOLs have nothing to do with Alcon, out of the 65 lakh cataract surgeries that we do. The rest, 20 lakhs, has something to do with you. But just imagine, with 4 times income and with the elderly population growing up, I would predict the cataract surgery almost doubling in 15 years. And the convertibility, like in Disha, our basic cataract cost, the per unit cost on an average was 9,000 10 years back, and today is 16,000. So, these help a lot, and we have moved more towards Alcon. So, and only 2% of that is premium lenses. So I don't know how much following these premium lenses would really help. I mean, we should take the first step and then the next step. Let's, spectacle industry. Alcon is the biggest ophthalmic company in India? Yes? Yes? I'm sorry. It's Essilor, if you take in the bigger perspective. Because they sell spectacles, right? And they are big at it. They are about 2,000 plus crores. So, how does this money be paid to the ophthalmic profession? 20% government, 70% out of pocket, 10% insurance. Now, that is another picture which is growing at 20% year on year. So, the facilitated healthcare is going to go tremendously, and I think by the end of 10 years, it's going to be 70% be on insurances. And that's going to help us a lot. Now, what is the next big aspiration? India, they have put their children in good schools, they stay in a reasonable accommodation. So what is the next spending going to be? Obviously health, right? And we see our politics and the government trying to regulate this, bring down this, trying to put in so many things. Why? Because they fear this, that their vote bank, the next thing that they're going to ask is health, which of course they are difficultly poised because currently the Indian government spends all in all, state, central, 1.47 crores out of the 7.5 crores that the industry size is. And if you see this, you understand better. The private insurance, 10 crores, people insured for 30,000 crore premium per annum, and that ends up at a 20% claim to, premium deficit. But look at this, 27,000 crore people are being insured for 2,400 crores. Still funny is many employees of our hospital fall under this. 10 crore of ESI insurance also costs the same as a private insurance. And they end up making profits. 5,000 crores of ESI money is not being used. And why? Because people don't go. So that is the performance, and we are going towards Modi care. I don't know how this is going to be. So, government as an insurer is fine, but government as a provider of healthcare, I wouldn't know, because we have very good experiences with Air India and the private sector banking, public sector banking, haven't we? So, now, where do we see the major growth? Again, IOLs, refractive and cataracts. This is something we are working on with an Indian company. Just imagine, this refractive, this multifocal, trifocal, panoptics, and all that you say. We are scared of one thing. Will the patient actually, neuroadaptation and everything, is the patient going to tolerate it? So we put in one lens in the bag, which is his power, and we putting a second lens in the sulcus, which can easily be removed. Patient doesn't like it, I just pinch it off like a contact lens. So, these are add-on lenses. We're spending so much on biometry, micromonovision, getting this state, that state. So these things are going to have a tremendous impact. Again, Manish, some bad news for you. As per IC, ICL has almost seen 17 years, and the experience has been wonderful. Just imagine, to do an excimer, you need such a big machine and such a huge down payment. But to put in a ICL, you need nothing. And it is coming in the Indian market, and they're cheap. So even a rural ophthalmologist can actually treat refractive errors and majorly presbyopia. So I see a lot of future there. Just see, this is the Disha stats, and I'm sorry. Do we have a pointer? Yeah. Anyway, almost about 50% pre-surgery are vision above 612. That's the general Disha average. If you see the average vision loss, 42% vision loss is the average vision loss at which patients agree to surgery in Disha. But if you take a senior surgeon, well, that's me, 24% vision loss, patients agree. And this little jump can actually, add, what about 20 lakh more patients, pan-India. So, it's only the maturity and the way we serve that really matters. And I tell you, our Snellen's charts will be replaced by contrast vision charts. Can you read the last lines? There at the back. So go check your eyes and see, you might be needing an operation. So that's what it is. We may say that, it's okay, but it's not okay if the lights are not okay. So, contrast is a very important thing which we don't pay much of a heed. So these are the good things that I have always enjoyed from Alcon, the Ozel, the Acrisoft multi-piece lens, the Viscoat, the Vigamox, and the BSS. Wonderful things, wonderful things. You have big things, but I enjoy these small things. And of course, I must endorse that they are the best products. They are actually the best products. But I was talking about health aspirations and what do we need to do around that. The thing that we need to have is good and absolutely good primary care. Because here I talk about an OCT, now the OCTs are becoming swept sorts, right? Now just imagine if we measure, if we can measure all the points in this scan and this scan, and across 12 clock hours, we are getting an anterior topo, a posterior topo, an anterior, we are getting all about glaucoma, we are getting the lens thickness, and we are getting the retina OCT picture. So one machine gives us all, right? And of course the biometry. So, we have to design the equipments like that. There'll be just one or two equipments at the most. You have this wonderful thing called ingenuity. Now just think, the lenses can't get any better. You can't have a better microscope with lenses, right? Because they can't get any better. The aplanatic, achromatic, all that big zooms, everything over. So what can get better? The chips can get better. The software can get better. The LCDs can get better. Look at this screen. Wonderful, isn't it? It's going to get much better. So that's what we need to develop. We need to visually see the eye, not through lenses. Yeah, through cameras, screens, that's what. So finally, let's come to the hard talk. Well, this is what that great man said, that I will make the electric bulb so simple that candles will be something that only the rich can afford. And how true is it today? Yeah. So simplicity or simplification is the ultimate sophistication. Let us understand that. And this is another beautiful quote. Yeah, cost is more important than quality. That's what we've learned in Disha. Because unless it is affordable, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist for 80% of Indians. So if it doesn't exist for 80% of Indians, it doesn't exist in India. So we have to work with costs. But quality is the best way to reduce cost. Because if you can master quality, the ultimate quality is what Thomas Alva Edison, or for that matter, what Da Vinci said, that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So Innovation and manufacturing are the two important things that will drive our industry forwards in the next steps. And of course, marketing. But when I see this Alibaba and everything, our own homegrown Flipkart and Amazon, I find that information that this good is available here and the logistics that bring it to me is very simple. So I think a lot will depend on the manufacturing, on our ability to manufacture. But where marketing will play the most important role is to create a market at the human level, not with us, but with the patients. I think that will be the key. Saurabh was already very enthusiastic about it. This is my best lens. This is my best lens, I tell you. And I'm sorry. If this can come at the price of this, $1 billion, right, Sandeep? India will do it. You don't need Asia for it. We have 65 lakh lenses to be done today. And just think how much Alcon does. You do 10%. So that is the pride of the common man. And that's what we always nurtured and planted and watered and let it go forward. And it gave us everything. It gave us all this. And it gave us this beautiful people. This Alcon family that you have, we also have a big Disha family. And we go out every time, once every year. This was in Switzerland, maybe. Now to come to the last part of this time with you. Every time, I used to write ophthalmology, I used to miss this letter, H. Yes, because it's silent. But it's very important. And my teachers would say, no, you're wrong. I said, what is in an H? Why is this man so insistent? Because, it is silent in another very important word, and that's honest. And I've realized over time that that is the best business. Because if I'm not honest, my vendors don't trust me, my people around me don't trust me, my doctors don't trust me, so you just don't grow. You just can't perform, you just can't go forward. So I think if anything that is in trade, that is in business, that's what we trade, what we do business with, is just plain and simple honesty. So the God and the devil of the industry is in between lines, actually. Don't read this example, it's a complicated example, but I tell you one thing, to lie with p-values is very easy, but it's very bad. You shouldn't be lying with science. P-value to me means neither patent value nor profit values. To me, p-value means patient values. Patient value, and that's all. Nothing else. We can't afford this. So, obviously, Sandeep made a very big Alcon statement and an objective that if you can reach your target, what goes to the help of these people? The needless blindness that we suffer, still India suffers. I'll tell you a little story. And I tell you, not in a philosophy of that giving over gets. I gave at the initial stage of Disha, And today, you know, I'm so proud to be here. And I've got so much. So giving, I've always seen, always overgets. And, but there are some gifts, you know, which you can never repay. People in West Bengal must be knowing there's an institution called Chaitanyapur, and they have a blind school also, Eye Hospital, but they have a blind school. So I went there. It was a day before Diwali, and a boy, young boy, Raju, he walks up to me and presents me with a box of candles. And then I was so dazed to hear that they make those candles to blind children. I said, somebody who's born blind, never seen the light of the day, they make candles to brighten our festivities. I was totally amazed. And I really spent that Diwali with them, and that was the best Diwali I ever had. Can we have the sounds on, please? There's a lovely music to this song. Anyway.
There's an audio to it.
It says, Aguner Poroshmoni.
Start. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You will enjoy the music. It's a Tagore song. Thank you, Alcon, for this wonderful honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it once again for Dr. Debasish Bhattacharya, please. Louder.
All yours.
As a token of love and affection from all of us, may I request Sandeep to please hand over a small memento to Dr. Bhattacharya. Dr. Bhattacharya has a quick flight to board, and still thank you so much for quickly making it. Divya? Where's the memento? Just a second.
I hope it was a little refreshing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.